Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Now, the last and the most important right is how to secure these rights. That is, right to constitutional remedies. Children, in the beginning, when I was telling you about the definition of fundamental rights, I told you that the rights which are given and guaranteed by the Constitution, known as fundamental rights. So, the guarantee of the rights is being there in fundamental rights itself. All the 5, right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, educational and cultural right, these 5 rights are safeguarded under this 6th fundamental right known as right to constitutional remedies. And that is why this particular right is being known as heart and soul of the Constitution. A separate question can be asked, how to secure these rights. This is a separate question and this will be the answer. This will be the answer. Okay, just see to it. Fundamental rights in the Constitution are important because they are enforceable. If you do not enforce these rights, there is no significance of these rights. Anybody can come and violate your right, but these rights are enforced. That is why they are important. We have the right to seek the enforcement of their rights. This is called right to constitutional remedies. A definition can be asked of this. This can be asked as a separate 1-mark question. What is meant by right to constitutional remedies? Answer will be, the fundamental rights in the Constitution are important because they are enforceable. We have the right to seek the enforcement of their rights, and that is why it is called as right to constitutional remedy. So this itself is a fundamental right. I told you that this 6th fundamental right is safeguarding the rest of the above 5 fundamental rights. So this right was rightly being called as heart and soul of the Constitution by B.R. Ambedkar. It makes other rights effective. Children, just now I told you, sometimes this question can be asked, why this right to constitutional remedy has been called as heart and soul of the Constitution by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar? This is the answer. Okay. So under this, if fundamental rights of any citizen is violated or abridged, he can go to the Supreme Court or High Court directly. It means without going to any subordinate court. They can directly go to the Supreme Court and High Court and demand justice. And for this, Supreme Court and High Court can issue writs. What is writ? Writ means a government order. It means a government order to enforce rights of the individuals. So children, these are the 6 major fundamental rights of the citizens. Okay. Now, there is another thing, that is public interest litigation. It is again a right under which citizens or groups, this is not a fundamental rights. Okay. Now, what we can do apart from these 6 fundamental rights, it is a right under which citizens or group of citizens can approach the Supreme Court or High Court for the protection of public interest against a particular law or action of the government. See, this can be done even against government. So this also come under the right to constitutional remedies. Okay. One can write to the judges on a postcard just by simple writing a letter, and they can get their complaint registered with the court. The court will take up the matter if judges find it in public interest. Any individual, any layman, any ordinary individual can write a letter on a postcard to the judge, writing that something is happening in society which is against public interest, and judges have to take up that matter. Okay. Now there is one more important organization in the country which is known as National Human Rights Commission. What is this human rights? See, fundamental rights are only given to the citizens of the country. But human rights are given to everyone, a person who is born on this earth. The moment they get birth on this earth, they have certain basic rights, and this is known as human rights. So there are certain functions and powers of the National Human Rights Commission. So let's see to it what are those powers and functions. To make independent and credible inquiry, yes, into any case of violation of human right. They can have, they can take up any case, the case which violates human rights, any of the right of human beings. If it is violated, that matter can be taken up by the NHRC, known as National Human Rights Commission. Okay. Another thing, it inquiries into any case of abatement of such violation or negligence in controlling it by any government. If even government is unable to control that violation, control that thing, the government offices and takes other general steps to promote human rights in the country. So they can even take action against the government if they are, having negligence in controlling it. Okay. It presents its findings and recommendations to the government, or they can intervene in the court on behalf of the victim. If any ordinary man fundamental rights has been violated by the government, so this National Human Rights Commission can take up that case on behalf of that victim, even against the government also. So it has wide ranging powers to carry out its inquiry. It can summon witnesses, it can call witnesses, question any government official, they can demand any official paper, or visit any prison for inspection, or send its own team for on the spot inquiry. So this can be done even against government. So these are some of the powers and functions of National Human Rights Commission.